Let's bring in Canada's gold medal winning women's goalkeeper, Stephanie Labbé. Steph, welcome to this Legends Show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Where is that gold medal, by the way?
It's upstairs in the bedroom. It's taking a break.
That's right. You're going to take it everywhere, and you're obviously going to take it with you on Friday when you're on the celebration tour, I'm sure.
Definitely. It's actually been hanging out in my car quite a bit. It's just been in the glove box for whenever I need it. But finally, I brought it into the house.
Hey, we know that gold medal was elusive for the women's team for 2 Olympic cycles there. What was it like to see the men's team, grab their elusive gold medal, which was qualifying for the Men's World Cup?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's an amazing moment for soccer in this country. And, the women have been laying an incredible foundation. And I think this is just a great moment for the country to continue to rally around the sport. It's a great inspirational moment for the young boys and girls across the country to see these men make this happen. We've been talking about it for a while, and it's one thing to believe it, but when you start to have the facts behind it to really, I think, build that confidence and belief, it's incredible. And I know this nation is going to continue to rally behind them and support them when Qatar comes.
I'm just delighted that we've got a men's program that can compare at least to their, cheering on the women's, which is absolutely fine. I don't care. But to have them both, and with the World Cup at 26 for the men and the women's progress, it seems to want to continue on. Although, I'd like to ask you, how does this Canadian women's team keep up pace? There's no league in Canada as of now. The World's is catching up to Canada. Teams that years ago were never a factor in women's football are now. It is growing incredibly quickly. How does Canada keep pace with that?
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. It's, we've got the players at the top that are performing on the highest level and getting results, at Olympic Games. And, for sure, this team wants to continue those results. And I know Bev has stated quite clearly that we want to change, the results in World Cups now for the women's program. But if we want to continue to develop and not allow all of these other nations to continue closing the gap, we have to find more ways to build the grassroots program and to give more players an opportunity to be playing in professional environments. And in order to do that, we have to give Canadian players the opportunities to play at home.
Hey, Steph, what is it about Canadian goalkeepers? Craig and I were talking, it's this factory of outstanding goalkeepers that come from this country. How is that always the case, one after another?
Yeah, I don't know what we feed ourselves here, but I agree. I was fortunate enough to be inspired by some of the best in the game. Craig, Forrest, yourself, and also coming up behind Aaron and Karina, 2 of the best who have ever played. And that was such a, I think, gift for me to be able to learn from them, to be in a training environment where I was learning so much from them every single day. And not only in terms of what they do on the field, but how they carry themselves, the professionalism, and now to see the goalkeepers coming through the system, both on the men's and the women's side. Borian is so fun to watch, and his gray pants, I might not be the biggest fan of them, but they're his little iconic brand, and I love that. And he's been a huge factor to why this men's team has qualified. And I think the same on the women's side. I don't think there's going to be any drop. If anything, they're going to continue to raise the bar, and it's so exciting for me.
When we were talking to Karina LeBlanc about, back in her day, that the, role models for the women back then were men. They didn't have any women role models. Now, as you just mentioned McLeod and Karina LeBlanc as your role models. You had to wait an awful long time, too, for that moment, for your chance to get into that team. But I love the fact that young women in this country have women role models that have gone back a long time. I mean, Christine Sinclair, who everybody knows about, is the legend of all legends. And she's very quietly spoken. She kind of has this personality, almost like talking about Atiba Hutchison, And then you have Alfonso, just absolutely crazy and completely different, but brilliant in his own right. How is that? So you did, in your time, have women role models.
Yeah, I think, I kind of see 2 parts of it. I think for me, those women role models didn't come until later. I remember when I went to the 2002 U19 World Championships in Edmonton. That was, my first taste of really seeing these women play on the biggest stage and seeing that tournament. That's when I first saw Erin And, you know, that's when I was first inspired. And I was 15 years old at that point. And that's when I was first inspired to want to play for Canada. So it took me until I was 15 years old to see that. And I think that's what's so powerful is, you know, I saw it with my own eyes, and that's what inspired me. And those are the moments that we need to create more of for the young players. Now, you know, we have 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds that are watching the women's team and the men's team perform, and they're now being inspired at such a young age to go. And then just what you touched on, you know, with the different personalities and the different types of players we see, I think that's what's so special about both the women's and the men's team is there's so many different players that kids can look up to and see themselves in. There's not just one specific person. And I think the diversity that both teams show allows, you know, young boys, girls, trans kids, like all of them to be able to see somebody that they see themselves in.
When we were, I remember going back to the Olympic qualifying for 2012 in Vancouver and that whole setup, that was an amazing thing just to qualify for London and then go get a bronze medal. And then 2016 and on it goes. That sustained winning has been excellent. But also, I've never seen, this is totally different than the men's team. The women's team, I don't know what it is because they have such an internal belief that they need to help and inspire other young players that it's part of their jobs. But they do it without being asked. They'll stand and sign autographs for hours. I saw that many, many times until they sign every single autograph of every little girl or boy that's there. It's different. It's absolutely different. And I thoroughly loved covering the women's program and learned so much from it, and how tight that group of players were in the national team. And it hasn't always been the case with the men.
Yeah, I think that's something that, to be honest, like we have to give credit to John Herdman for. I think when he came into this country and started working with our team, that's what he really, I think, challenged us on is like, what is the bigger picture? What is the legacy that we want to leave? And challenging us to have those questions, or challenging us with those questions and to find the answers for that. I think that's what really brought this team together in terms of having that belief, but also wanting to do something for a bigger picture. And you can see that he's brought that same type of mentality into the men's program now. And I think that is what's so inspiring. And that's what drives players is when you really look inside and find that deep rooted, like, why am I doing this? Karina, you know, talks about it a lot, finding your why. And that I think was the biggest thing. You know, John reconnected us to our Canadian roots. He reconnected us to the anthem, to the words that are actually spoken in that anthem. And what is it that makes us want to do this? Who do we want to inspire? Who do we want to leave that legacy for? And when you're working together towards a common goal, but when you have that bigger picture, I think that's what ultimately gets you out of bed on the hard days, because you know it's not just for yourself. It's for something so much bigger.
Steph, I know you inspired a lot of goalkeepers in this country in your time for the national team, and you'll get to be part of this celebration tour for the gold medal team in April out in BC. You must be excited about that.
Yeah, extremely. I mean, it's very rare that we get the chance to play in Canada first and foremost. So the opportunity to do that, but also to be able to celebrate this medal with the fans in the communities that have supported us all along the way. You know, playing in empty stadiums in Tokyo to win that gold medal was really challenging. So now to be able to come home and kind of feel that excitement that we know everybody was feeling back home, but to actually share that excitement with them is really special for us.
And you got a few people going to the game, I understand.
I do. It's a big moment for me personally as well. And yeah, I'm really excited that it's on the West Coast. Vancouver, you know, a stadium that almost feels like a second home outside of Alberta for me. So to have a lot of my family and friends making the trip over is going to be really special.
Awesome. It's been really special for us to have you a part of this Legend Special, Steph. So thank you very much.
Thank you.